back to the channel, guys, and in today's video we're doing a recap and review of Temptation Island Season 3 Episode 6, Unexpected Loss. So it's been a crazy week, but we're going to jump into it after I first say, if you're new here, hit that subscribe button. If you like the video, smash the like button, and also drop a comment down in the comment section below. So this episode started off where we ended last week, where we have Kristen opening up about the tragic death of her brother. And Kristen confirmed to Mark that she stayed with Julian after he cheated because he provided this emotional support after her brother had passed on. And she added that she hoped she could finally open up now, being that she had shared this information. So it's definitely one step closer to her in this healing process. So next up was the guys' bonfire, and it definitely foreshadows some of the serious issues that's going on between Thomas and Chelsea's relationship. So for now, Thomas is definitely still kind of carefree as he watched Chelsea get closer to Blake, because he's getting closer to Sophia. And he's just taking it in stride because he knows back at the guys' villa, him and Sophia has definitely, been heating it up and getting to know each other. So it doesn't really at this moment bother, him, where he's hearing Chelsea talk about their situation and him seeing Chelsea actually spending some time with him. So guys, what do you think about these two? Like I say, he's taking it in stride and everything, but there's definitely some trouble brewing. And of course, by the next bonfire, which I'll talk about later, I don't think Mr. Thomas is going to be smiling at all. But, definitely Mark gave him some sound advice in regards to this situation, because he definitely tried to play it cool when Mark actually called him out on this so-called cool behavior. So now Julian is up next. And what Julian saw is Kristen talking about how she didn't know if she could ever trust him. She was having the conversation with one of the guys at her villa, and I know he was looking like, wow, But the thing is, Julian did admit it that, he cheated because he was an arrogant, ignorant a-hole. And so at least he can acknowledge the behavior, and see exactly how his actions caused the situation that he is in with his girlfriend, Kristen, But it's going to be interesting to see if he continues to work on this now that, he acknowledges the fact of what his, what he attributed to the relationship in this regard. And I don't see, I see him kind of working toward for the better. Let me know what, you guys think. And then, of course, Mark concluded that Julian should tell Kristen, and that information that he gives her might be a relief to her. So now we got Corey, and Corey watched Shaquille give a bunch of, I don't know if these were genuine compliments to Aaron. I don't know. But Shaquille was more fun, obviously, during the first few episodes. But this conversation definitely got weird, between the two of them. So, I don't know if, Shaquille was actually genuine in what he was saying. But Corey did say that he wasn't upset like he would have been in the past because he's feeling more confident. And you know what? That's a good thing. I think because him being in the villa with the girls, he's getting attention. So he doesn't see her, as the end all be all, when it comes to his girlfriend. He does see that, hey, there's opportunities outside of her. And Mark definitely gave him a high five in the air on that one, because I totally agree with him on that. So then we have Kendal, and what we saw is what Kendal saw, which was a clip of Erica confessing that, she felt humiliated by his actions. And she was having, this conversation with Kristen, And she was really emotional about it, as she should. You know, what she saw was the whole scenario when he first slept with Alexis and then turned around and had a threesome with Alexis and Nicole. However, Kendall, he act kind of confused as to why she was even upset, since they had agreed to the no rules when they came on the show. However, we did see Mark call him out. And, you know, he thought Kendall would be relieved if Erica cheated on him, as it would give him an opportunity or excuse to justify his behavior. However, Kendall denied that. But, you know, the thing is that when you come on a show like this, and you say no rules, both people have to be on the same page. And you can't say, yeah, I agree with it, or no, I don't agree with it, and then you have your own unspoken rules. So they needed to talk about this and be 110% before coming on this show with this. But, you know, he went way well and beyond. And Kendall has to know that. I don't think your girlfriend wants to see you having a threesome, you know, with other women. So, and then that was one of the conversations on the ride back home. So they got back to the villa, and, you know, Kendall talked to the girls at the villa saying, you know, how'd it go? And he was like, I don't understand what, you know, made her so upset. And them girls are like, yeah, we know what made Erica upset. And of course, Alexis knew. She knew. I mean, they know how these bonfire works. And the thing is that they show the most salacious thing. And one was him sleeping with Alexis, and one is him having a threesome with Alexis and Nicole. So he know what they saw. So let's go over to the girls' villa. This is where we see the girls come back, and both Erica and Chelsea unload on Blake and Jesse about their experiences at the bonfire. All right, so this is where we first see Erica, and she was exhausted. She bluntly told Jesse that she just watched a clip of Kendall having a threesome. And Jesse, of course, vowed, you know, that he was going to be there to support Erica, and said that Erica's relationship should have been over with a long time ago. And obviously, with what we see, he's definitely correct. We then also see Chelsea pulling Blake aside and said that Thomas saw her open up, and now he's going to use that as an excuse to go back to his bachelor lifestyle. As far as what we've seen, Thomas haven't done anything worse yet than what she's done, but Chelsea doesn't seem, you know, to want to recognize that. I mean, they're both, Thomas and Chelsea, are doing the exact same thing. She's basically building a relationship with Blake, and Thomas is building that other relationship with Sophia. So, I mean, for them to kind of give each other the side eye on what they're doing is kind of hypocritical, and I'll talk more about that later. So, now it's the next morning, and Chelsea and Blake are on a date. And I'm wondering if he is being as genuine, because remember, there was an episode called Blake the Fake. So let me know what you think. But in their conversation, he told Chelsea that his mom would absolutely love her. He talked about how great her eyes look. He's definitely, you know, got his career and everything together. But, you know, can he be trusted is the question. And that is something that Chelsea is going to have to consider. It seems like she's all in, because remember, at one point she was ready to write him off because she couldn't trust him. So we'll see. She made a 360, or shall I say a 180. And then meanwhile, we got Sophia talking to Thomas how she was planning on moving to LA to be with him because what they have is so real. Guys, do you think it's a good idea to move across the country for a man that you've only known for a few days and stay in a committed relationship, or who is still currently in a committed relationship? What do you think? However, Thomas responded to Sophia's declaration by writing his name on her butt using an exfoliator. Yeah. So, you know, it wonders why this guy has never really truly been in a committed relationship before Chelsea, you know, because his biggest thing coming on the show, according to Chelsea, is that he flirts with everybody. So we now see things are kind of going well with Aaron and Griffin. And Griffin asked Aaron how the bonfire went. And I think things went south. She had talked to him about what she saw when it came to Corey. And it really took her to a sad place. And she ran off crying and admitted that she felt angry and that she pushed people away when they get close to her. And, as we continue on, we kind of get more information as why Aaron feels this way when we, see her later at the bonfire. But Aaron realized she needed to stop suppressing her feelings. So she was kind of able to, talk to Griffin. And he said, basically, I'm just here to help you. So while their conversation is going on, there's another heart-to-heart conversation that's going on between Amanda and Corey. Corey was sharing with her that he thought that Aaron was the best he could do. And Amanda let Corey know that he shouldn't be in a relationship that didn't fill up his cup. So, I honestly think he's a very sweet guy. It seems to be he just is slowly getting into learning who he is and, what he has to offer. Amanda definitely see that in him because she's trying to build a connection with Corey. But I don't know if Corey is going to be quick to go anywhere. Let me know what your thoughts is on these two and whether or not you think they're going to go any further. So then we see Erica got a little sweet date with Jesse. They were talking about how much they cared about their families and how they would, stay in touch after the show. Jesse, definitely reiterated his concerns to Erica about her going back to Kendal. And he said this because Erica mentioned that Kendal said that she spent too much time with her family instead of working on herself. Okay. The thing is that, yeah, you got to balance out your time. But, if she's doing both, I don't see what the issue is. But it's definitely a concern. Outside of what he's saying, just the fact of what she saw in those bonfires is something that she definitely needs to look at this to, make a choice to walk away. At the end of the day, it's her choice. We'll see what happens at the end of all of this. But, it ain't looking good based on, of course, what she's seen so far. Now, on Kendal's end, we see Kendal and Alexis talking about family and how they wanted a ton of kids. Alexis daydreamed of having 10 kids. And, Kendal admitted, he wanted kids. However, he dropped Alexis a bombshell when he admitted that he didn't know where things stood with her or Erica. And he knows what he wants. We don't know if it's just to continue just hooking up with Alexis and then, push Erica off to the side and, hope everything that happened on the island, goes under the rug and she goes with him. Yeah, but she's definitely concerned about where she stands, meaning Alexis. We also see Julian. He was on a date with Maya. And he informed Maya that he has a hard time connecting with Kristen because she bottles up her emotions. And that the reason that they're still together is because they each suffered major losses in their families. At the same time, we also heard that of Kristen earlier. But, Maya is definitely looking like she's trying to connect with him. She's being this listening ear and this confidant for Julian. But I don't see a connection there with him with her. And then on the flip side, we have Kristen also having the similar information given to Juwan because they have that same conversation. And she also informs him of the loss of her brother. And Juwan also shared that he, lost someone to an overdose as well. So, it was a very touching moment between the two of them. And then Kristen then dropped the bomb that she was afraid of what it could be, whether it's unexpected loss and Julian leaving her. So, definitely both Kristen and Julian had major breakthroughs in the episode, but more than likely, it's probably going to bring the two of them together. And it definitely, looking at Juwan, he was so sad. And it was so unfortunate, that, he lost someone similarly to the way that, Kristen had lost someone. But this was just a conversation piece between two friends who are confidants for each other. But there's definitely no connection with Juwan and Kristen. So now we're back at the guys' villa. Things lighten up a bit because they had a masquerade party. And at this masquerade party, definitely they was having a good time. I couldn't really get good lighting because the scenes were, I guess, with a blue light or something. But this is where we see Nicole pulling Alexis and Kendal aside, because she wants to know where she's staying in this part of this throuple that's going on, because she don't want to get hurt. She was once talking to Corey, and I guess because he decides to go on a different date, she was out the door and she was snapping. So that's something for everybody to consider, whether, she's going to be ready for something like this. But just the fact that he was like, man, I feel like I'm in a throuple. It's like, yeah, okay. But there's definitely going to be some issues with this girl between these girls if they get to fighting over Kendal, because now, Nicole wants a connection with Kendal, obviously from being involved in that threesome that they had, but we'll see. So now we also see Sophia putting the moves on Thomas. And in this particular thing, she was trying her best to kiss every part of his face but his lips. And Thomas behaved. He didn't give in. But on the other side, we saw at the girls' villa, Chelsea was practically all over Blake in the pool. Earlier, Chelsea told the girls that she was scared because she didn't think about Thomas, during her date, and it's got her thinking. But, both Chelsea and Thomas seem to be going their separate ways by their actions, that what Thomas is doing with Sophia. And then, of course, this connection, just looking at them in these different scenes, they're definitely, Blake and Chelsea got something going on between them, some form of chemistry and energy. So we'll see. Then we have the next morning where Aaron is trying to play therapist to Chelsea and Erica. First up was Chelsea, who Aaron told about her feelings for Blake. And, the thing is that, she was, painting her toenails and everything. She could have easily tuned Chelsea out and, talking about her constant feelings about Blake. And then she switches over after dealing with Chelsea, and then she has a conversation with Erica. And they discussed about what Kendal might say once this is all over. However, Erica did nail it when she said Kendal was going to say they had no rules, because he's definitely going to use that. That's what he said at the beginning. She also added the point of no rules for him to show his true character. And man, did he ever, from what we see on the show. So, yeah, she obviously pointed it out. She knew the whole rules thing was going to be his go-to. So then back over at the guys' villa, we see this whole conversation with Tula, Amanda, grilling Sophia about when she going to get a chance to kiss Thomas. Sophia was like, I tried. But, even when she was drinking, she did respect the fact that he's in a relationship. And then the whole other conversation is where we see where Tula is asking Kendal if he's going to leave the island with Erica. Kendal said that Erica knew what he brought to the table. And, Tula said in her confessionals, if it was her man making her cry, she would be coming for his throat. So now we're back at the bonfire. And this is where, we see Erica watching a clip of Kendal and Alexis talking about having a family. Erica, I bet she wished she could warn Alexis that Kendal wasn't showing his true colors. And, Kendall is who he is, and it ain't pretty. And, she definitely watched that in stride and saw everything that both the two of them were saying to each other. But, no tears this time, no breaking down. It seems like she's getting stronger. She's like, and she even said, at least I didn't see any sex this time between them. But she's feeling her worth at this point, and that's one thing that Mark definitely, complimented her on. And that's good for everybody to see her doing that too. And we don't know what's going to happen at the end of this. She could be strong right now, and then she'll drop and say, okay, we're going back home together. We don't know. But, it's good in this moment to see that, she's now starting to see that she doesn't deserve any of this, that Kendall is putting out there. And now we see up is Kristen watching Julian telling the guys that he changed who he is just to make her happy, but it's not making him happy. We see Kristen having another breakthrough and admitted that it wasn't always Julian's fault, but her trying to control a bad outcome. And, of course, her opening up about her brother made her realize how afraid she was. And Mark, found that was sweet and that he was very proud of her. And then it was Aaron's turn to drop a bomb. Now, Aaron saw a clip of Amanda and Corey speaking on his vulnerability. Aaron was definitely upset with what she saw and how close they were, and said that she had trust issues and was very angry at Corey. She confessed to Mark that these feelings came from losing her best friend and being physically abused in her past relationship, which she hadn't said to anybody. And Mark reminded Erin it's not her fault, and feeling shame was possibly sabotaging her relationship. So that was definitely good advice, and she definitely needs to sort through her emotions. So next up is Chelsea. Chelsea got to watch Thomas and Sophia flirt as he exfoliated her butt. And that side eye that Kristen gave her, because she also know what's going on the other side with Chelsea. However, Chelsea said she felt nothing when she saw it. But she contradicted herself when she said she is not okay with her man touching somebody else. Chelsea said Thomas was making a connection with Sophia, but she's also making a connection with Blake. And, she definitely sniped that Thomas was doing whatever he wanted without any regard for her. And Blake would never act like that because he respected women. Chelsea, you don't know this guy. I mean, and 2 episodes ago, he was Blake the fake, and you was about to write him off because his intentions wasn't genuine. So, yeah, I think everybody giving you the side eye at this point. So now we see the guys head over to the bonfire. And the guys in the vehicle was asking Kendall if he wanted to be with Erica. And without a hesitation, Kendall said yes. But Corey asked Kendall if he was leading on Alexis or Erica, and Kendall's excuse is complicated. So Corey goes first, and we see a clip of Aaron being upset that she had made Corey feel bad about himself. Corey said, however, that she wasn't solely responsible for his lack of confidence, but he, definitely was as well. So we see a new improved Corey, and he also shared that he was a catch and pretty damn good looking too. Mark, however, still reminded him that he needed to figure out who he was and how to value himself at that level, which is definitely great advice. But it's definitely good to see a different Corey kind of graduate to the level that he is on at this point and how he feels about himself versus what, we saw weeks prior. So then we now see Julian. He's watching Kristen telling Juwan how, her experience of how she lost her brother due to drug addiction, and that she was heading in the same direction by struggling behind closed doors. And, Julian definitely observed, and he said that they were going through that same journey. And, you know, he also agreed with Mark when Mark wondered if this is something that could definitely be the path back to them finding each other once again. So, you know, this is something, especially now since they're openly talking about it, this is something definitely that might bring these two back together because they don't have any connections in either of the villas. So it's definitely something I can see these two working from. Now we got Kendal. Kendal saw Jesse and the conversation that he had with Erica, telling her that she deserves better, and he wanted to come and visit her. Mark, of course, asked Kendal what he thought and if Erica could forgive him. And without a beat, Kendal said, "Oh yeah, she'll forgive me." Mark kind of raised his eyebrows because, you know, he didn't believe Kendal. And the thing is, for him to actually think that after seeing the first bonfire where he slept with Lexus, the second bonfire when he slept with Lexus and Nicole, that just might be a stretch, Kendal. So Thomas went last, and this is where he watched Chelsea tell Blake he should be nervous around her as they got super close in the pool. And this is where we see a reaction shift, because in the first bonfire at the beginning of the show, he was calm as a cucumber. But this time, Thomas looked upset. He told Mark it looked like they were going to lose each other and that it was weird seeing her in the arms of someone else. Thomas added he didn't want to be a hypocrite because he's having a similar experience, but he never thought that she would actually find somebody. And I'm like, dude, really? So you go and you rub exfoliator all over Sophia's butt, and you've been making this connection, and now you see Chelsea making this connection with Blake, and now he's having a fit. You know, the thing is that I honestly believe he probably thought that she would never go away. And the guys were giving him the side eye because they seeing what's going on with him. So honestly, between Chelsea and Blake, those two are hypocritical. But we'll definitely see what happens with these two coming up in the future. It's a wake-up call, Thomas. So let's do our post notification shout out. If you want to be shouted out, drop a comment below. I will see you and shout you out. So the first one goes to Rini. Thank you so much for engaging in the channel. I really appreciate your comment, and thanks for watching the video. Also, Kathy, thank you as well for engaging the channel. I really appreciate it. And I'm glad you enjoyed the overview all the way from Switzerland. Welcome. And then last but not, we have two more, I'm sorry. Raw B, thank you as well for engaging in the channel. And last but not least now, Kim Williams. Thank you as well for engaging the channel. I'm glad you enjoyed the Temptation Island recap, guys. So I will continue to bring them to you. However, until the next video, like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you soon.